Hello, and welcome to our next venture into the Twilight series covering New Moon. I'm one of your hosts, Meggie.
And guess what? I'm also one of your hosts, and my name is Laura.
And yep, we wrapped up Twilight. We are moving and grooving, getting into New Moon, and Laura's having the time of her life.
Clearly, my enthusiasm just shines brightly through my voice. No disdain detected as I trudge through these novels.
I mean, shine bright like a diamond.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a new moon, am I right?
Exactly. What do you think a new moon is? Like, is it actually a planet cycle that you can see? Because, they have eclipse, so you can see an eclipse.
Well, Meggie, like a new moon is like a moon phase.
And sometimes on this show we learn things.
Like you're like, is it like when the moon births itself, like a snake sheds its skin?
There's like waxing, there's waning. What's a new moon?
New moon is like, I'm pretty sure
it's just a new phase.
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, and now I'm second guessing everything.
Yeah, that's fair. And we don't want that. We don't want We don't want to doubt each other. And ourselves.
I guess if she called this book like Waxing Crescent, it wouldn't have had the same hit.
Because she also has Midnight Sun, and that's not a thing.
I don't think that's a thing. I think that's just an expression.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Kind of like Breaking Dawn, like that's not a technical term for something. That's just like...
Yeah, that's not... She just kind of had fun with it. She said, with these books, we're going to have fun with it.
Also, why didn't she call the fourth book Daybreak? That would have been... That's an actual thing, you know?
Oh, that's cool. I like Daybreak. Daybreak's nice. Hey, rewrite them. You know what I actually was thinking during the New Moon? So obviously, it's not like New Moon's a mystery. We know that this is going to be Jacob's little book. But I was wondering, because they have the gender-swapped Twilight. They have Twilight from Edward's perspective. Why didn't she ever write like a book series where she picks Jacob? Because I'm kind of curious.
I don't know. I feel like Jacob is one of the most believable characters Stephanie Meyer has written, and I can tell that she doesn't really like him having any sort of like plot.
Yeah.
Really. Like, I feel like she's like bored writing him for some reason. I feel like she also wanted us to read this book and be like, Jacob is not Edward, but I'm just like, Jacob's better than Edward, clearly, in every way imaginable.
He's a lot more... pun intended, human. He's got a lot more human traits.
Well, yeah, and it's like the vibe I'm getting as I'm reading this is like she really wants us to be like, oh, I hope Edward comes back, and it's like, I don't want Edward to come back. I want her to keep fixing cars and bikes with Jacob.
Yeah, she's having the time of her life.
She's learning things. What did Edward ever teach her besides pages and pages of vampire lore? Bored out of my fucking mind.
Absolutely. And I know, readers, we are jumping the gun a little bit. If you actually don't know what the New Moon plot is, that would be wild at this point. But we did wrap up Twilight with Bella and Edward went to prom and are boyfriend and girlfriend, and she also got attacked by a vampire, and that's kind of like what that whole book is.
Yeah.
It's kind of all you gotta know going into this book.
Yeah. So going into this book, we do one of Stephanie Meyer's favorite plot devices, a dream. And in this dream, Bella is running, trying to save something, and her grandmother is there, and then Edward is there, and then it turns out that this dream is not about Bella's grandmother. It's about Bella being a crypt keeper aged woman, and Edward being the young 17-year-old lad that he is. And then we wake up and it's her birthday, and she is pissed.
I've never seen someone so mad to be celebrating their 18th birthday. I think I had a blast, but Bella does not want to age. She's very upset about it.
Yeah, she's so, quote, and I pissed because Edward will never be 18, and apparently not even a full year age difference is too much for her.
If she hates 18, that's the other thing too. She's not even going to get to experience her 20s. Why don't we slow down? 20s are a blast.
Get to 21 so you can legally drink first, am I right?
Exactly. So Bella is just in a mood going to school. She does not want to turn 18.
No,
but
she does not.
Alice has planned a very nice birthday for her, so she better suck it up, despite the fact that she doesn't want any attention.
Right? After school, Bella and Edward are gonna watch Romeo and Juliet for her birthday. How fun. Go to Chuck E. Cheese or something. Go to an arcade. That sounds more fun than watching Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, you know when you get together with a bunch of friends and you're like, I don't know, watching a movie, you're like, oh, we're watching Sex and the City. Who's Samantha? Who's Carrie?
Yeah.
Edward and Bella are kind of bonding this way too, but just talking about Edward's like, hey, honestly, if you got killed by James last book, I was actually going to go ask the Volturi to kill me. And this is where we get introduced to the Volturi, which is this ancient family of vampires in Italy. Bella doesn't really love that Edward would kill himself for her, but also she's 18. She probably does. Let's be real.
I mean, but I also think what a horrible thing to tell somebody on their birthday. Like, oh, by the way, if something bad ever happened to you, I would go kill myself. It's like, I don't want to hear that on my birthday. I want to hear about how awesome I am.
I also think it's wild that this was, like, considered romantic.
Right?
Because, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it was just, like, how I'm reflecting on high school now, but I feel like there were a lot of narratives where guys were like, if anything bad happens to you, I don't know what I would do with myself. Which I thought was really cute to watch, and then the first time a guy actually, like, said that to me, like, being like, I'm gonna kill myself, I was like, oh, wait, this is actually really scary.
Yeah, that's actually really manipulative and problematic. Isn't that crazy how that works?
Yeah, honestly, they shouldn't have us reading Romeo and Juliet at 15.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a score one for Jacob, because at no point in this book did Jacob ever say he was going to kill himself, so...
Okay, so we're going to keep score on Jacob,
I think we have to
Edward,
keep scores, yes. Yeah.
And I will do my best to keep score for Edward, too, because I know...
I mean, is Edward going to score a single point this book, Maggie? Maybe we should just both be keeping score for Jacob.
All right, we'll see.
Well, the Cullens throw Bella a birthday party that night. How fun.
How fun. She gets there. Alice has put her whole vamp pussy into this. She's decorated. Let's go. She's decorated this house beautifully and all these like pink and white flowers. Bella has a whole bunch of gifts. I imagine there were candles there too. I don't know if that was actually explicitly said.
Honestly, if there's not candelabras completely illuminating the Cullen household, I will be so pissed.
And the Cullens really go off on gifts. They get her a radio car set for her dumpy little car. They get her a pair of flight tickets to like anywhere in the world. There's 2 tickets, so she could go with Edward if she wanted to, or she could, bring Jacob, I guess, depending on how things pan out. And when she goes to open the second present, she gets a paper cut. And...
the logistics of are still unbeknownst to all of us, because this paper cut is apparently very deep.
Yeah, also, I feel like wrapping paper is very not the finest of paper. I don't know how you would.
Unless they wrapped it in cardstock, but, like, that's not how things work. Like, you can't... I find it very hard to disbelieve that you could get a little slice from a traditional piece of wrapping paper.
But this little slice is a little slice of heaven for these vampires, because they are primed and ready to attack.
And Jasper, notably here, freaks out. He's going haywire. So they're like, everyone's trying to remain calm. I believe Alice is the one who takes Jasper outside, and Carlisle's the one who's like, I'm a doctor. I'll stitch you up, Bella.
And you're like, why does Carlisle have to stitch her up? Well, to make matters worse, after she gets this paper cut and Edward notices that Jasper is going to attack her, he makes matters so much worse by reacting in a really calm way of just throwing her into a table that she breaks and gets glass
Wow,
everywhere.
It sounds like a score one for Jacob. He didn't throw her into a table at this entire book.
Well, okay, I guess Edward couldn't really, help himself because he was just reacting the best way he could, which is,
by giving her more blood to be taken out?
Is, I guess, chucking your girlfriend safely into a glass table.
Not like, let me grab my girlfriend and get her out of the house. Let me make sure she is down on the ground and immobile.
So we have one of many scenes that will take place in this book that follows where Carlisle is... the Cullens are always attending and stitching Bella up, but he is explaining why Edward doesn't want to turn Bella because he sees it as taking away her soul, and Bella just can't get this through her head because that conversation happens often in many different forms.
This conversation happened so much last book. It's happening again. I really, don't understand how Bella cannot hear, oh, okay, like this is this isn't like a, like a fun little thing. It's like a huge deal.
That's a friend you tell we're going to this bar at 8 p.m. on Friday 7 times throughout the week, and then the day comes and you call them 5 times and they still manage to be late somehow.
Yeah, and they're still like, wait, where are we going and at what time? And it's like, come on.
Come on. I hate that. I was really just describing myself basically there.
You can be type A if you want to be type A, Meggie. It's okay.
You're right. My superpower, you're right. In
Your
this world,
superpower is type A.
it's type A. So I arrive to the bar on time and I listen to people.
Carlisle also uses, and like, here's the thing. It's like, she has a bunch of stitches for some reason. Like, because again, this situation got escalated so much. Carlisle also uses this opportunity to say that he believes in God, and for like a page and a half. And I'm like, why did we include this into the book? It's because Stephanie Meyer is super religious, but it does not fit seamlessly into this part of the book.
No, he's kind of going on a monologue about his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and also he just mentions that he changed Edward because Edward's mom asked him to do everything in his power to save him specifically, which I think that's what leads into the God talk.
Yeah, something like that. But I digress.
Edward's
gonna take her home because, needless to say, this party cannot continue. And Edward, instead of, maybe apologizing for throwing her into a table or apologizing on Jasper's behalf, he's just acting really weird, cold, and distant.
Yes, because anything that happens to Bella, he internalizes as his own fault, but he takes no actions to actually setting and establishing boundaries. He's just kind of brooding next to her, being like, this wouldn't have happened if you had normal human friends. Okay, then maybe don't talk to her in bio class.
Yeah, and then he turns it into this huge fight because he sucks. And then he's like, you don't even want a birthday. I should just take all your presents back. Like, he's being such an asshole.
She does have to talk him down a bit, and eventually he does relent. He's like, okay, I'm happy. And his mood takes a big personality shift.
I'm better now. Thank you, Mommy.
Thank you for cheering me up for you basically slicing your arm open. And she does open the rest of her gifts, includes that trip for them to Jackson to see her mom, and a CD of songs he made for her.
Yeah.
So they start making out, right?
Yeah, they make out hard before bed, which I think is like the only tinge of romance we've really gotten between them.
Make out, point for Edward. We love making out.
Well, Meggie gets negative points for not apologizing for throwing her into a table.
Oh, fuck, he really didn't. He did kind of make it about himself.
Yeah.
And she mentions that it's like a really intense kiss, like he's saying goodbye, and sometimes those are the hottest kisses.
Yeah.
Point back?
No.
Point back for goodbye kiss?
No, because here's another minus point. Yeah, at lunch the next day, he is being so weird and so standoffish, and he's like, yeah, Edward, oh my gosh, I can't read my notes. Alice and Jasper are in Alaska, and he doesn't elaborate further on why. It's just kind of assumed that it's because Jasper had his little freak out moment, but he's being just so strange.
Yes, he's being very aloof. Bella brings this disposable camera to school the next day, and she's trying to get all those memories, take all those photos, and Edward just kind of won't even pose for them. I think they take a really awkward couples photo together where he's not even smiling, and my heart would drop.
Right? Because it's Bella has somehow taken that Alice and Jasper being in Alaska means that Edward is going to ask her to come to Alaska as well. And so poor Bella's mind jumps to great, I'm just going to take pictures of everything so I don't forget all my friends and family here. It's really bad. And Edward that night is I'm not staying the night, which is, it can't be good news because Edward always stays over.
Yes, this whole interaction finally culminates to after school, he admits that they are leaving, and just like Bella did to try to really convince Charlie that she couldn't stay in Forks, he leaves no stone left unturned. He just rubs that salt in the wound. He is like, Bella, you aren't good for me. This thing we had will pass. It didn't really mean anything to me. And how does she respond? She's so depressed, she just lays in the woods until someone finds her.
She aimlessly walks through the woods until nightfall and then just curls up into a ball. And Charlie has to send a search party out for her.
Once again, Bella is not thinking about Charlie. We need
No.
plus 1,000 points for Charlie, just being concerned.
Yeah, so Sam finds her, and then Charlie's not too far behind, and then a doctor has to take a look at her, and then there's a whole search party of people just like asking her what happened and if she's okay. She's too despondent to think.
Jacob's friend Sam finds her and is like, I guess I'm gonna carry you back to your dad's.
Because she's immobile now.
Yeah, she's immobile. The doctor is at his house. There's a ton of people there. And once they leave, the doctor kind of pieces together that it might be heartbreak since Dr. Cullen also left the hospital. And the funniest thing happens. So she is like, imagine we go from her so depressed and the doctor's like, yeah, he left, to a cutscene to the LaPush boys lighting bonfires to celebrate.
They're throwing like a 4th of July cookout style party to celebrate that these vampires are gone, which I think is so funny.
There's like an underlay of a very like what you say, and then they're throwing bonfires as Bella realizes Edward took all of the gifts with him too to not remember him.
That's so mean. He took even like all of the pictures she like took of him specifically, so he would disappear. He promised it would be like he never existed, and he's gone so overboard.
He has. So she's not having it. We get a very interesting stylistic choice here, where we go through months of lifeless, depressed Bella. What did you think of this? Every page just says a month name. November, December, January. I loved that.
I think it was good. I think it was a good way to kind of break up time and have us jump forward. I think a big critique of my last book was Stephanie Meyer did not know how to pass time. It was like she had to cover every single like piece of a day, even if it was just like, and the day went by quickly and now it's nighttime. So it was nice to see her like jump forward. And I also think that's what this book needed.
I also do applaud her for that. Mostly because breakups, when they're really bad, do kind of feel like that. I mean, like, I look at photos from the past few months of fall, and it really just felt like it was like a month. Yeah. I don't remember what happened.
Yeah. But now it's January, like Meggie said. And Charlie is done with little sad Bella. I will say, I do find an issue with the fact that I guess they did date for like a year, didn't they? In my head, they only dated for like a couple of months. So I get, like, it was your first love. You're being really sad.
Yeah.
But anyway, Charlie is so mad at Bella being a little mopey girl that he's like, hey, if you're gonna keep moping around here, I'm just gonna send you back to your mother because, like, clearly this isn't good for you.
He says, do Jacksonville or go see a therapist, and she doesn't want to do either. I mean, whatever. When did these come out? 2007? Therapy.
Yeah, 2007 was still anti-mental health problems. So.
She really was like, oh, I'm not crazy, like in the book. Which,
yikes.
Whatever, Bella. So she just tries to put it all under the rug. She's like, don't worry, I'm going to a movie with Jess tonight. I'm normal. I'm chill. I'm a chill girl now. And at school, she asks Jess to go to the movie, and Jess reluctantly agrees because Bella, for the past few months, has not been interacting with anyone. She just goes to school and does the motions and goes home.
Yeah. And it also sounds like she hasn't really been interacting with these people since she started dating Edward either. So it's like a long time has passed that she's just been kind of like, everybody is second tier to Edward.
Yeah, I'd be exhausted. I would just kind of be like, I don't really want to put my time aside for you when you never did for me.
We know Bella's a bad friend, but we also know that Jess is a good friend. Jess does give Bella a chance. They go to a movie and Bella's horrible the entire time.
Yes, they are walking after this movie that they go to. They're going to get food, and Bella sees a bar named One-Eyed Pete's with a group of... One-Eyed Pete.
Okay, yeah. One-Eyed Pete, you up? What's up?
You can imagine the kind of energy that goes on at One-Eyed Pete's.
Sexy energy.
A lot of motorcycles outside. There's
vroom, vroom.
Vroom, vroom. There's a group of men outside. I'm imagining very tatted up. And she's like, hey, wait a minute. What if I just kind of recreate something here? So she starts going their way.
Yeah, and I read this as Bella very much thinks this is the group of people that followed her from the last book. Like, she's like, this is the exact same group. And I know last time when these people followed me, Edward came to my rescue. So if I go towards them, Edward will rescue me. So as she's walking towards them, Edward is not here to rescue, but his voice does start ringing in her head.
Jess is pleading with her, like, please come back. And Edward's telling her she promised not to do anything stupid. So she's like, I'm going to keep pushing this, okay?
Yeah.
Because now I kind of realize I can do reckless things to get my ex's attention, which is kind of funny. And also, I wish that was the case for me.
But it ends up not being the guys, and they're actually, like, I mean, they're, like, a little, like, flirty, but, like, they're not being overly creepy or anything. So she's just like, well, I'm clearly not in danger, so might as well go back to Jess. And Jess is, like, very ready for this night to be over. She's very much done with Bella being Bella today.
I also, like, if I was Jess and my friend came back and said, I thought I knew someone over there, I would say, how the fuck do you know those guys? No, you don't.
Yeah.
Why are you lying for attention?
Yeah. Someone needs to call Bella the fuck out and humble her.
I know.
At work the next day, Bella now works at Mike Newton's family's, like, camping store.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah. Because, like, they never explicitly say it. They just kind of, like, reference the things that they're doing at this job. But anyway, there's some people there talking about a bear sighting in the woods. So that's going to be a new plot for us.
Yes, there's been bear sightings. She decides after work she's also going to pick up some motorbikes on the side of the road and gets the grand old idea to introduce Jacob. He's going to come in. He's going to fix them up. She gets his address from Charlie, rides on over to see her 6'5" friend.
Yeah, Jacob has once again gone through another growth spurt, and he fine and he tall.
He just
That's another point for Jacob. I'm sorry. 6'5", that's awesome.
That's insane. That's almost too tall.
It's almost too tall, but what are you gonna do?
Kind of scary. Stop growing. You know he's hitting his head on every door frame.
Oh, so true.
Poor guy. She forgot. She actually genuinely enjoys his company, and she asks if he'll do it for free. He can even fix up one of these motorbikes for himself if he wants to. And he is going to, because obviously Jacob has a little crush on Bella. Everyone is obsessed with our little flavor of the week.
Yeah, so she gets to meet his other friends, Quill and Embry, and she really likes watching, like, these three friends just, like, hang out with each other. And so Bella keeps going over to Jacob's because she realizes that she's having fun watching him fix these bikes, and they go to a dump and get parts, and they hang all day, every day for a minute. So it's cool.
She's also great benefit. She's not having these bad dreams anymore that she was having during the depression months where Charlie just, like, even stopped checking on her because she would wake up screaming in the middle of the night, which that's not good.
Yeah, we do get an interjection here where Bella goes through a school day. She sits with her old friends at lunch, and they seem to kind of accept that she's there. Which good for her, I guess. And then Angela talks about another bear sighting. So we're getting some more rumblings about these bears. And Bella, of course, making it about herself, realizes that she has been in Forks, Washington for a full year now.
That's so crazy.
Which would make her a senior, right?
Yes.
Because why have we not talked about where she's going to college? She should have done her applications last year.
Wait, yeah, because she was a junior in the first...
Yeah.
Or was she a sophomore and Edward was a junior?
I think she was a junior. I could be wrong.
I don't know. This book never ends.
Not important. This book never ends.
So, there are the bear attacks, and, you know, she, like Bella does, it kind of just washes over her. She is feeling, like, back to being okay, but she does obviously have, like, relapses in her breakup. She tries to disturb her peace of mind by going to the Cullen's house to kind of wander around. And after this, she goes to Jacob's, because why are you in your ex-boyfriend's house? Why are you doing that?
Because you're trying to hear his voice? Okay. And we have a really nice moment between her and Jacob here where Jacob, like, genuinely asks if they would still hang out once these bikes are finished, because they're pretty close to being done. And Bella's like, yeah, I really like hanging out. I would like to keep hanging out. So that's something nice.
And I don't know how to describe their interactions besides, obviously, he is someone who is, like, waiting. He's on the sidelines, probably going to complain about the friend zone. But as a human, he is just very patient with her, and they also do have like very quick banter that feels very comfortable.
Yeah, it seems like, unlike her relationship with Edward, Bella does actually have fun with Jacob, which is nice to see.
So at school, they're gonna hang out outside of motorbikes. Mike Newton does shoot his shot again because him and Jessica, they were together in the first book, but now they're not anymore.
Dunzo.
And he is like, should we hang out? And she's like, dude, it's been a year. Like, we are just friends. It is not date time.
Yeah, but she does agree to do like a group movie thing because that would be fun. Bella's clearly trying to amend some friendships that she has clearly not been tending to. So they agree that they'll get a group together to go see a movie.
They're going to do that. Meanwhile, Jake has finished the bikes. The motorbikes are done. They're going to test them out. On the way to driving the motorbikes, they've loaded them up in Bella's truck. They see cliff divers. They see the little push gang, as Jake calls them, who are, quote, protectors of the land, and they are led by Sam Uli. And Jacob just gets, like, that bad vibes from Sam.
And Bella's like, this is interesting because, like, Sam very clearly, like, carried me out of the woods the other day, and he seemed really nice. And Jacob tells us more and says, like, no, like, people who hang out with Sam, like, they're all acting super weird. Like, Embry just started hanging out with him, and he's being so different now, and it makes me really sad that I'm like, I feel like I've lost my friend. So we get some interesting backstory here that tells us that something is afoot.
Yes, he says Sam makes him uncomfortable. He feels like he's just waiting for Jacob to catch up. Embry missed a whole week of school after Sam focused on him. And I would kind of think it's like grooming. I would think it's like a cult of a younger man taking advantage of all these younger boys.
Yeah, it's clear that the vibes are not good. It's not like oh, I'm just going to hang out with this guy now. It's like clearly something in the air shifted.
Bella hugs him after this revelation. She's like, "Oh no." Also having the thought that, well, I kind of hope that he takes this as like a friend hug. Like I'm just comforting him, which I don't think I'd be thinking about if someone was like, I think my friends are being groomed.
Right. Well, Bella is a very selfish character, unfortunately for her.
She's like, oh, he's probably thinking about wanting to fuck me right now after unloading this trauma.
And you want to know what Jacob's thinking about? I gotta teach this clumsy bitch how to ride a bike.
This is the book she finally learns how to walk without stumbling.
That's so funny. But Jacob teaches her, like, great, this is what this thing does, this is what the other thing does on the bike. And this entire instructional lesson, Bella is hearing Edward's voice, and he is pissed. He's like, this is a dumb idea. You are a clumsy fool. You are going to fall. You are going to hurt yourself. And Bella's doing the first thing Bella's done this whole book, and she's ignoring this voice. And she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna bike.
Which is good. You need You need to learn new hobbies after a breakup. And sorry if they are kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
Sorry if they're kind of dangerous.
Sorry if they're kind of dangerous.
Like,
tell me that.
After I had a breakup, I also got into hobbies that people might say were, quote, problems, like online gambling and drinking. But I needed to grow as a person with a hobby.
But would we also argue that online gambling and drinking are fun, Meggie? Just like a motorbike?
Exactly. Like, we had Dave & Buster's as kids, and now we can do adult slushies and have Dave & Buster's on our phone. Which is...
Or you could just go to a Dave & Buster's. Oh my gosh.
I did bet on golf today, so maybe...
You know what they say? 4.
You are so right.
It shows how much I know about golf, you know?
I don't... Oh, 4. Oh, I thought you meant the number 4. I see what you're going for now.
I was doing a golf thing, you know?
Exactly.
But anyway, Bella very quickly falls off this bike, and she cuts her forehead open, and there is blood everywhere. Classic Bella. I'm surprised she still has blood left in her body.
I know.
Bella convinces Jacob to, like, let her go clean up before they go to the hospital. And while she's doing all this and Jacob's, like, tending to her and helping her and taking her to the hospital, she's like, wow, Jacob's so beautiful.
Yeah, because he, like, takes off... He doesn't take off his shirt here, right? We haven't gotten to the taking off shirt.
I don't think we've gotten to the shirtless guy yet, no.
But she is kind of noticing, she's like, wait, maybe I could actually move on? Maybe I'm comfortable?
In fact, we highly recommend that you move on, Bella. You're young. You should absolutely be doing that.
And as he is tending to her wound, too, Edward's voice appears like, are you trying to get yourself killed? And if I had that in my head from my ex, I'd be like, buzz off.
I'd be like, buzz off. I'm trying to get myself laid. Let's go. They lie and said Bella tripped in the garage and, like, landed on a wrench or something. And Charlie buys this lie. He's like, of course, my clumsy fool of a daughter did that.
Yeah, of course. I do love the gaslighting of just like Bella. Yeah, Bella would do it. That would happen.
He's like, that makes perfect sense to me.
They take a break from the motorbikes and she takes Jake because she wants to try to find the meadow that Edward had brought her to when he did his whole vaudeville act of as if you could outrun me.
Yeah, and Jacob's kind of a ride or die. He's like, sure, there's a meadow you want to find. I'm in. Let's go find it. And they search for 6 miles, and they can't find it. So they're like, well, we're going to turn around, but at least we tried. We'll try again another day.
She does feel like he is getting too comfortable with the idea of her as a crush. So she proposes the movie thing that she is doing with friends. She's like, you can join. She invited everyone to go. And he's like, I would love to go to the movies. Unfortunately, day of, everyone but Mike cancels. So it's just Mike and Jacob.
Yeah, they all get sick. Yeah, so it's just like a weird, awkward, like, 3-person date.
And if you have seen the movie, it is described like that in the book too, where Jacob and Mike are both sitting next to her and they both kind of have their hands up as if, like, hey, you can hold my hand if you want to.
Yeah. My favorite thing is in this car on the way to the movies, we find out that Bella doesn't like music, which is like one of the most insane things to ever write about any character ever. Because it's like, how do you just not like music?
She's like, everything reminds me of him, so instead, to cope with this breakup, I will just listen to silence. And that is my biggest fear. I need something going on all the time.
Yeah.
I can't be alone with my thoughts.
It's cool because Bella doesn't have many, like, thoughts in her brain, unfortunately. All she does is ask questions. So I'm like, what do you mean your brain's just, like, question mode? Like, no music? Come on.
So they ride in silence, this weird little throuple. They
Yikes.
see a movie that because she doesn't want to see rom-com, she doesn't want to see, like, anything that's not just gory, which I relate to. And they both try to get her to hold their hand. Mike has to excuse himself to vomit because it's, like, too gory of a movie.
Yeah.
And this is where, while Mike is in the bathroom, Jacob takes the time to be like, Bella, you need a real man. Don't you like hanging with me? Don't you like me?
Don't you like me? And Bella, and they talk about their dynamic, and Bella basically friend zones Jacob. Jacob's a good guy. He doesn't he doesn't get pissed. He's just kind of like, I understand. Like, that's totally fine.
Yeah, she's basically like, I don't know where I'm at with my feelings. I don't know if I'll ever be there. I'm pretty broken. But he kind of likes that she's broken. He's like, I could wait.
Like, everybody likes that Bella's helpless and broken all of the time. And then we find out after this that Mike is not sick from the movie. He is just sick. Like, there's a stomach flu going around. Mike has gotten the stomach flu. So Jake and Bella take him home. And then Jacob says he's starting to feel weird. So it's like, oh no, Jacob's getting sick too.
Yeah, he goes home quick because he's running a fever. Bella gets the flu. And
Wait, there is an important moment here where Bella does realize that she loves Jacob now.
Yes.
We don't elaborate on if it's, like, platonic or more. It's a new feeling, so she's kind of figuring it out herself.
She does say, quote, he was my best friend, and I knew that I loved him, but it would never be enough.
Yeah.
So, take that as you will.
Mm-hmm.
But they both get sick, as real lovers do, with the same illness. And she just kind of assumes that that's what he's sick with, but he's like, no, it's actually a different, more complex thing that your brain wouldn't understand.
Well, it's interesting, though, because it's like, obviously the stomach flu passes in 24 hours for Bella, but then Jacob goes, like, MIA for a few days. It's something else. Bella has no clue what's going on. Both Jacob and Billy are being, like, super avoidant when Bella keeps trying to, like, call and, like, ask if Jacob can hang out, if he's feeling better, and check in on him, because, like, that's her best friend. Of course she wants to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, and Billy, I mean, he's really stonewalling her. He's
being weird.
He mentions that Jacob won't be around. He is, like, going to a double movie feature with some friends, and she's like, well, that's kind of a bummer, because I thought we were friends.
Yeah.
And this whole interaction of figuring out that your friend is hanging out with other people, hurtful, I guess, whatever. This incentivizes Bella to go to the meadow because she's like, I just want to be alone with where Edward and I used to be.
This is after Charlie has warned her not to go out into like any sort of wooded area by herself because there is yet another missing hiker in the midst of Forks, Washington. So of course Bella's gonna ignore this and go try to find the meadow again. She does find it, which is good for her, but I cannot believe that she's like, I don't even care about all these bears attacks. Bears won't attack me.
Yeah, I am too scared of bears because I wouldn't know what to do. I think that Bella has this mentality that she, by proxy of hanging out with people who are invincible and immortal, she also can't die.
She has no sense of danger, like, ever. Like, even in the scene that we're about to see, it's like she feels like she's not even afraid. She's just kind of like, oh, okay, this is happening.
So she travels this 4 miles into the woods. She does find the meadow. She realizes it kind of hurts to look around when Edward isn't here. This was like our first moment together. We had our first kiss. This is really painful. And as she's going to leave, somebody shows up.
And guess who it is, guys?
Guess who it is?
Guess who it is?
Not Edward.
It's not Edward. And no, it's none of the Cullens either. It's Laurent, one of the 3 vampires from the second half of the last book. Not James, because he's dead. Edward killed him. And not Victoria, who is working with James. It's Laurent, who is the level-headed one. And he's no longer level-headed.
So, Laurent's plan at the end of Twilight was to kind of live like the Cullens. He was going to go with the Tenali family in Alaska that the Cullens are, like, friends with. And just, I guess, try to be a vegetarian. So, I guess I kind of get Bella's line of thought in being like, oh, he's like the Cullens. But the interaction goes down of her asking, didn't you go to Alaska? Like, how are you? All these questions. Until she realizes his eyes aren't actually that golden amber color that you get from feeding on animals. They're red.
Yeah, and Laurent, he's gonna lay it on truthfully to Bella. He's not gonna beat around the bush. He says, I'm going to kill you because Victoria wants you dead. She'll be mad that she can't do it herself, but since I found you, I will. And I'm killing you because Edward killed James.
I love this line of thought too because it's like, honestly, I'm doing you a service. She's gonna make it slow.
Yeah.
And bad.
He's like, I'm gonna do this so fast. Like, we're all gonna have fun. Just buckle in. It'll be over before you know it. So it's a weird scene because like Bella doesn't even seem like she's terrified when a vampire who she fully knows can kill her says he's going to kill her, which is again baffling to me that Bella again has no sense of fear or also just no sense of awareness of the severity of the situation.
Yes, there is like an underlying thing of fear because obviously Edward does show up in her mind. He implores her to lie because Laurent is like, oh, where are your little Cullens?
Yeah.
Why aren't they with you right now? And she's just trying her best to stay alive.
She's not, Meggie.
She's trying her best. She's not
even trying. She's just like, okay, sounds good.
I guess, like, what do you do in that moment, too, though?
I'm kind of surprised she didn't take an opportunity here, knowing everything I know about Bella. I really feel like she would have been like, what if you take a little bit of blood and then you turn me into a vampire? How's that sound?
For how opportunistic she is, I don't know why she didn't either.
Yeah, like, if you have another vampire who's not a Cullen here, see if he'll turn you.
Because then you could get... Oh my god, honestly, I never thought about the fact that she could do that, because now I'm so pissed off. She could become a vampire, she could go find the Cullens and then be like, guess what?
I'm a vampire now.
Guess what? I'm your liability.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, even last book, she'd, like, threatened that she would ask Alice to turn her. And Edward's like, she won't. But I was like, why hasn't she cornered all of the Cullens, made a case to see if any of them will turn her? She's just kind of like, well, maybe it'll happen. Come on.
What could she even leverage, though, to Laurent? Because she obviously tries being like, they're not going to be very happy when they come back and you kill me. And he's just like, I don't really care, to be honest.
Use your breakup. Say you want to kill Edward and you want to be on Laurent's side and kill the Cullens for killing James.
But did Laurent... Honestly, that's really smart, too. But did Laurent care about James enough? It seems like he was like...
I mean, he clearly cares enough to kill Bella on behalf of Victoria, who's mad about James. So, like, Lauren does have some loyalty here.
Because if he was hungry, he could truly just be like, honestly, I can kill anyone.
Yeah.
I can go kill
anybody. But
I'll kill you. Yeah. I'll kill my mom.
Yeah.
Maybe she's still alive. Who knows?
Yeah, I feel like a better thing for Lauren to say here would be like, I know Victoria wants to kill you because of James. I don't really care if you live or die. I'm just hungry. That would have been more terrifying, I think.
I think that, well, I guess it is because he's like, I'm doing you a mercy. But I kind of got that he was like, I'm going to be very honest. I'm pretty hungry. Yeah. And right when he's about to go through with it, he's going to get her. He's going to kill her. This huge pack of wolves show up.
Yes, and this is the reveal that these bear sightings are not, in fact, bear sightings. They are giant wolf sightings, and they travel in this giant pack. And Bella, again, not afraid. She's like, wow, there's a pack of wolves here. Crazy. Very nonchalant about the whole thing. And the wolves chase Laurent away and leave Bella to run out of the meadow.
She does make eye contact with one that has like a reddish-brown tint. And she's like, oh, I'm kind of thinking of Jacob right now. Why does this wolf kind of give me an aura?
Why is this wolf giving me the eyes? I'm kind of horny right now.
I did kind of like that it always seems like she just likes him more when he's a dog.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, so Bella loves her little creatures.
She does love her little creatures. She recounts this whole thing to the wolves thing to Charlie, and he's like, okay, and I guess, once again, the only thing I can reiterate to you is, please don't go in the woods. Can you just listen to me once?
Yeah, and Charlie also drops the little truth bomb saying, he's like, yeah, I saw Jacob down at, like, the general store today, and he was acting super weird. He didn't even say hi to me, and he was arguing with his friends. So that's weird, right?
Yeah, menopause, what can you do?
But then, yeah, Bella retreats to her room to basically start thinking about that there's these vampires, Laurent and Victoria, back in Forks that clearly want to kill her, and kind of letting that sink in. And I think that's where we're going to end our first part of New Moon.
That's true. There's a lot happening. There's wolves out there.
With those vampires hunting Bella again.
Laurent is no more. But yeah, Victoria, she's something.
Mm-hmm.
She's something.
So let's do our top 5.
So for this book, obviously the current theme and the ongoing theme is that Bella's just doing whatever she can to get her ex's attention. It's not going to be subtweeting because we know that he doesn't have a smartphone. It's not going to be your average ways of getting your ex's attention.
No. Yeah, she just wants that guy's sweet, sweet voice in her ear. And she is not, arguably, in Meggie and I's eyes, trying hard enough to get Edward to run back to her to save her or to get his voice back in her ear. It's just she's not doing enough.
Exactly. So our top five ways she could get his attention: through elaborate schemes, through letters that she, I guess, puts blood on. I don't know.
Something she hates to do. Actions.
It's true. She's not one for actions. And we are going to start off at number 5. Maybe she should go on Fear Factor. I mean,
think about that.
Think about it.
I think Edward would hate that she was going on television. He'd be like, how dare anybody else perceive you other than me?
And like we mentioned earlier, I mean, I haven't seen Fear Factor. I think you've seen Fear Factor. But like Fear Factor and Survival, I feel like there's a chance she could die on live TV.
There's not really a chance you can die on Fear Factor. Everything is very tested, and it's like very much situations that you wouldn't normally be in. It's like, eat this spider, like sit in this pile of snakes. Maybe she's on Survivor, and when Jeff, is that the host, he's like, there's a hurricane that's gonna hit the island. They just can't find her. Becky, it's so clear to me that you have not seen a single episode of Survivor.
I watched one season of it, I think, with you in the pandemic, and I know that a hurricane hit the season and they had to evacuate everyone.
Well, yeah, and they took everybody to a hotel.
But I haven't. I'm not a normal watcher of it.
And Survivor's a great show. If you all aren't watching, get in on that. Which brings us to number 4. We think we think Bella should go to a theme park. She should get on a roller coaster, and she should not put the lap bar down, because that is an imminent danger.
That is some Final Destination shit that I'd be so scared about.
Yeah. And we think Edward would march his vampire ass into that amusement park to say, hey, Bella, that was not the arrangement. You should not be on a roller coaster with no lap bar.
Like, he has to at least be able to monitor thoughts. And if she's, like, falling through the air, time might stop for him to run fast enough to get there. Exactly. I think that's her line of thought.
Yeah.
Number 3, straight and to the point. Bella, get addicted to heroin.
Or any hard drugs, honestly.
Or any hard drug. I think
Edward would be pretty pissed.
That's one way to get your ex's attention, let me tell you.
Number 2, probably more favorable way to get your ex's attention.
Better way.
Start kissing on somebody else. I think Edward is so insecure and so judgmental and so jealous that he would freak out the moment he realized, like, Bella's life didn't end when he broke up with her.
I think all that drama about him being like, I want you to move on with someone, that's just song and dance. If she kissed someone on, like, a Jumbotron at a baseball game...
At a party, jumped on someone, made out with them, tongue in their throat.
Oh, he would know, because you know that person is thinking, I can't believe I'm kissing the Isabella Swan right now.
Yeah, because everybody's infatuated with her.
Exactly. And number 1, again, straight and to the point, write a book about their secrets. That's like the pettiest thing you could do.
Publish a school newspaper article. Even go for small peanuts here. If you write anything saying, like, I have proof that there was vampires living in Forks, Washington, Edward would march his little vampire booty over and be like, no.
Exactly. And that could also really launch your career. Imagine, yeah, sure, the Volturi's going to kill you, but the New York Times picks it up.
Yeah, here's the thing about Bella that we forget about, Meggie, though, is Bella doesn't have any sort of professional aspirations. Her only thing that she wants is to have a boyfriend, so...
That's true.
Or have a boyfriend who is not a human, so...
I feel like at 18, I also just wanted a boyfriend and to be on SNL, and now neither. Neither are panning out. And that's okay.
That's growth, Meggie. I'm really glad this podcast can kind of help you understand your past and your growth as a human.
Thank you. It's been really healing for me reading these books.
Yeah. I can only imagine. Who is our canceled character of the week?
I mean, you want to say Laurent, but it's also like he's just doing what he thinks is right.
A part of me does want to say Bella, just because it's clear that she's not helping herself and she's just like clearly a bad friend to everybody who doesn't immediately like fit into her master plan.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I think I will pick Bella too. I think that she wasn't a good friend to people, and friends are kind of all you have after a breakup. It actually might have benefited her.
Yeah, literally, my first thing after a breakup, I'm always like, great, let me like actively go try to spend time with people who I know like have my back 100% of the time. Yeah, but no, she just went, I'm going mope mode, and it didn't work out for her.
Yeah, I'll cancel Bella too. I'll cancel her. Yeah. Because after a breakup, you can't sit around for too long. I tried.
Yeah, you take a couple of weeks, but like don't do 6 months of just like rotting. That's gonna hurt you more.
Like, you can only rot for 6 months if it's at your parents' house.
Yeah.
And you're 29 years and you're 30 years old.
Yeah, and Bella's only 18, much to her dismay.
Exactly, Bella, you got some years that you gotta catch up to me, baby.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, hell yeah. Then that's going to be it for New Moon Part 1. We will be back next week with New Moon Part 2.
And get ready. It's going to be a wild ride.
And you can follow us on all of the social medias at Meggie and Laura on Instagram, at We Read It on Twitter and TikTok. And then that's it. That's the episode.
That's really it. And
may all your moons
be new.